absolutely spiteful, unkind, not necessary. There's plenty of time, but she actually wants to spoil it and take the spotlight away. And that's what happened this time with
And
Catherine.
the biographer of Prince Harry and Queen Camilla, Angela Levin, joins me live. Angela, can you believe that Meghan Markle has claimed to a group of young children that she is the most bullied woman in the world? This is the same Meghan Markle who was subjected to a massive investigation at Buckingham Palace for her bullying, which has never been released to the public. This is the same Meghan Markle who has just recently been accused by the Hollywood Reporter of bullying staff. I've spoken to 12 former staff members who describe her as a dictator in high heels. I mean, surely, Angela, this is a new low.
It's very low and it's very unpleasant, actually, because she was talking to a group of young girls from the age of 4 to 13. Now, can you imagine telling them something like that? First of all, they would be terrified. They would be scared. They wouldn't know what on earth to say to her. They wouldn't be able to sort of swallow it. It was just the most extraordinary thing. That is not the way to get people to like you. She's an adult and she should know that. In any case, she was there. It was a digital wellness program, which Archwell Foundation was paying for. And so she was there, in the right to help these children. Instead of it, she must have sort of scared the living daylights out of them. And then she goes on and adds that it was really worse when she was pregnant with either of her children. What are they expected to say? They're not doctors, they're not psychologists, they're little people. And they must have been very, very scared. I mean, you can have nightmares over that when somebody tells you these things. They're just enormous. So I think the only thing about it was some sort of manipulating of people who she doesn't know. And perhaps she feels that that's the way they can talk to her, and they will like her. This is playing the poor girl who's being treated so badly role, isn't it? And she should know that that's not what you do with small children. You wonder then, actually, frankly, what she does with her own children. Must be a very strange way of bringing them up and a very strange way of helping children in that age anyway. I mean, if she wanted to talk like that, she could actually say someone who was, in their 20s or 30s, and then they could discuss these things if they wanted to. Little children, absolutely awful.
Indeed. And of course, once this backfired on Meghan professionally, as ever, the lies start coming, Angela, because this story was actually revealed by Larissa May, who is the founder of hashtag Half the Story. And she told Vanity Fair, and remember, Vanity Fair is a magazine that is completely slavishly loyal to Harry and Meghan. And she said, we did an activity where we talked through a bunch of scenarios and Meghan talked about being one of the most bullied people in the world. So it was very clear. There's no ambiguity there. That's what Larissa May said. She's an ally of Meghan Markle. But of course, immediately, Meghan's allies try and tell the New York Post, oh, no, she's got it wrong. She didn't say this. Just stand by your words and stop throwing your allies under the bus.
Yes, it's very wrong of these magazines to actually follow somebody who is being appalling and actually as
And is
saying
a proven
lies.
liar.
It's the thing is that she should surely know the difference between being disliked and being bullied. I think she's very disliked. I don't know if she's ever been bullied, actually. It's a very different thing. She might have been bullied, but I think that what's the trouble with her is a lot of people don't like her because they don't like her lies. They don't like how she's been talking about the royal family when she was given so much. And it's very strange that she can't actually see the huge difference between those two things.
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. And the thing is, Angela, we all liked Meghan when she first entered the royal family, or even if we didn't like her, we were prepared to give her a chance. And
I
actually,
liked her. I
yeah,
liked her.
yeah, no,
I was
no,
very, I was very, very pleased for Harry's sake that he had found someone he loved, someone who could cope with being in the spotlight. And I thought that, she was very beautiful, and that at last he'll be happy with her and have children and do all the things he wanted. So I was on the right side of all this. But I soon realized that is a very, very different person from what you think of initially. And I think that's much more visual now than it was when she was very, very keen to actually get the marriage done.
yeah, indeed, indeed. And the thing is, though, it's almost like gaslighting the world, isn't it? When she tries to say she was the most bullied person in the world, because hear me out on this, Angela. No one was disliking her or bullying her until we all learned about what she was doing to the staff members at Buckingham Palace, what she was doing to Prince Harry in terms of dominating him and controlling him and taking away his confidence, what she was doing in terms of being awful to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, what she was doing in terms of talking to the staff members incredibly rudely, even a gardener at Windsor Castle so badly that the late Queen felt she had to get involved. The late Queen had to call Prince Harry and say, your wife can't keep treating people like this. I mean, there was story after story after story. And actually, Angela, a couple of times people may have thought, okay, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt because she's from Hollywood. She doesn't know how this works. But it was an avalanche of stories.
Yes, but the thing is, for me as well, when she was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey, it was the thing I saw overnight because I was supposed to talk about it immediately it finished. And I thought it would be a bit boring, really, to be honest with you. But I was astonished by the things she was saying, the lies coming out one after the other, and you can't believe them. And you think, how dare she say this about the royal family? How dare she say this about her wedding and get the Archbishop into terrible trouble? I mean, it was just astonishing. It was one thing after the other. And then you think there's something very, very wrong here. I mean, why is she doing this? She's got everything she wants, especially Harry. And to behave in that sort of negative way, demanding way, spiteful way, is something you don't forget. That's how you
No,
see
indeed.
somebody.
No, indeed. But it's just such gaslighting behavior, isn't it? To say, oh no, I'm not the bully. I'm not the bully, despite the fact that actually there are about 40 people who have accused you of bullying over the course of the career. But no, 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 no. I'm not the bully, but I'm bullied. I'm the most bullied woman in the world. I mean, it's just quite an extraordinary tack to take.
But frankly, that's not something to be proud of, is it? I mean, you keep quiet about that because you must think there's something very wrong with you. That's what people feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
apart from getting it wrong about bullying and not being liked, I mean, how could you say that? Present yourself, well, I'm being the most bullied woman in the world. Is that something you want to achieve? I mean, of course, it's nonsense to feel like that.
And how does she even know, Angela? Because this is the other thing, her inconsistencies are so significant because how does she even know, given that she's the one who always claims, and I know this to be a lie, but she says it, Angela, oh, I don't look at social media. I don't read any of the reports in the press about me because I don't want to see any of this stuff. So how do you know you're bullied, Meghan? Where is this coming from? I mean, her inconsistencies are all over the place.
Yes, I mean, that is ridiculous, isn't it? Because she's made it very clear. Any meeting with women that she's had, any meeting with anybody she's had, she makes it clear that she doesn't get involved with that. It's too low for her. She doesn't want to be involved in that sort of thing. Then how does she find out? I mean, how does she find out in the world? We're not talking about, just London. It's just a world. And this goes through her that she's always talking about global, 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 global. I mean, she can't know that much about it. She couldn't get that in a day of looking at everything everybody's saying around the world is about you. But this is the problem. It's me again, isn't it? Even if it's nasty, even if you hate hearing it, I think she just leaves it and moves on to the next thing. But how can you say that about people? It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
And Angela, you think the timing of this bizarre intervention from Meghan may have been deliberate against Catherine?
Well, I mean, the number of times that she comes out with something when either William or Catherine or King Charles, anybody is doing something, out she comes half an hour before or just afterwards and shows what she wants to say. She's done that with so many times. And people are very used to it now and they recognize it and they think it's absolutely spiteful, unkind, not necessary. There's plenty of time, but she actually wants to spoil it and take the spotlight away. And that's what happened this time with Catherine, who's just come out of being all her cancer issues, and she suddenly decided without not much time that she would go with William to Southport, and he was going there already, and she wanted to speak to the three set of parents who lost their children. They were knifed by an 18-year-old, and they were killed, and 10 were wounded. And she did say before she was out on this case, she said that as soon as she feels well, she wants to help people. That it's very, very important to her. And because the children were 6, 7, and 9, very similar to her and William's children, so you can feel that very strongly, that how awful the parents must feel. And she went round there, and if you watched her, how she was talking to them, you could actually tell that it was all about asking them. It was all about finding out how they felt, what they were what was most difficult for them. I mean, everything was difficult, but she was asking, in a very nice way. This is a giving thing that she's done. It's not someone who's taking away because they want to be astonishing to people. And afterwards, when they left, she decided to rush back, which she did, and she gave a hug to everyone who had been there helping get the children and sorting things out. And I think that must have been the best thing that ever happened to them in
Yeah.
months.
I mean,
She is generally loving and she's generally
yeah.
caring, and you can see it on her face and her gestures and everything.
Well, Angela, I just
And
think what a contrast. If you
yes,
contrast two particular scenes, so you have Catherine and Southport, as you say, spending so much time. By the way, not with the cameras there. She spent half an hour with each family of the
yes,
victims who died with no cameras. The families stayed privately with Catherine. Contrast that to Meghan a few days beforehand on the red carpet, where she almost used children at that event for an LA hospital as a prop. And she was with them for a matter of a few seconds in order to get some good publicity out of it. I just thought the two appearances contrasted so significantly. But first, digestive issues are caused by a potential toxin that's in all of the, quote, healthy foods that scientists have been telling us to eat, with a fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time. And this potential toxin causes digestive issues. According to Dr. Gundry, a world-renowned cardiologist, this is affecting millions of people nationwide. Warning signs include weight gain and fatigue, digestive discomfort and stiff joints, even skin problems. Well, Dr. Gundry explains these side effects can be manipulated and mistaken for normal signs of aging because digestive issues develop usually over a matter of years and sometimes even decades. I can assure you that the damage is probably caused by these health foods and it's far from normal. The good news is you can easily help fix the problem from your own home. It's very simple. You just have to know which foods are actually healthy and which contain this hidden potential toxin. So you can go find this yourself at gutcleanseprotocol.com/outspoken. That's gutcleanseprotocol.com/outspoken. I've put the link in our show notes on YouTube and Rumble too. Because after years of research, Dr. Gundry has decided to release an informative video to the public, free and uninterrupted, showcasing exactly which foods you need to avoid. Go find that video at gutcleanseprotocol.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description below. But now, back to the show.
Yes, and I think this is what really upsets Meghan, because she can't work out how to get it right, because it's not in her, frankly. Some people find her good qualities, but those are not. She can't actually let someone else be the main part of what she wants to do. It has to be her. You see it all the time. Whereas Catherine, she really, really cares, and she feels that her role is to take advantage of her position and help other people as much as she can. And she's the sort of person that if she gives you a hug or she talks to you gently and asks you about yourself, who we can see people want to tell her. Little children run up and hang around her legs. They feel that she's just lovely. You don't have to tell them to do that. They just run. It's very interesting to see. And parents feel relaxed with her and that they can actually trust her. I think it's a wonderful thing that she's got. And it's wonderful for William, helped him develop into a wonderful father and husband, because his own background and family, it was very difficult for it to be happy and relaxed. But she's just one of those people where you feel very, very happy with her.
Now, the big royal event that we're waiting for, Angela, this week is King Charles pausing his cancer treatment. So this is really significant, to visit Australia. It's a long trip. He's also going to be attending Samoa as well. But what is so shocking is that the Australian Republican movement are just treating him appallingly. 6 premiers refusing to visit him. I mean, the damn Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, is an avowed Republican. And to me, Angela, look, of course, Charles has made it clear Australia has self-determination. It is up for the people of Australia to decide whether they want to be a republic or not. Completely get that. But isn't it quite crass, given this is being referred to as a farewell tour from Charles to Australia, given the state of his health, that are being so political and really, actually, it feels to me, trying to humiliate the king?
I didn't know it was called that. I mean, I think that's a terrible thing to call this, is to end something when he's actually still alive and he's still working. I can't believe that that's what they called it. I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it? Well, the
Yeah,
good
and I
thing
mean, I
about
think
it,
that's the media, in fairness. That's the
ah,
media rather
okay,
than uh, the premiers
individuals.
themselves. But still,
Okay. Still, it's very unpleasant. The good thing is that people like him enormously. I mean, 1 in 4 are absolutely delighted he's coming. And I've had quite a few people asking me, we're so excited. We haven't seen him for a long time. We're so excited. It's rather the public like the king, but the people who work for the country don't. And I think if you don't like somebody, just be polite. And I think that the invites went out last May, and I think you could actually make a, half an hour time to actually speak to
appalling.
him. Be
It's
polite.
so rude.
Very, very
Angela,
good.
he is the head of state. I mean,
Yes.
it's so appalling.
Yes, it is actually. It makes you feel very unhappy for him because he has been ill. He is stopping his treatment so that he can do as much as possible.
Mm.
They're going to do 10 visits a day between them. I think they're going to split a lot with the Queen, Camilla, and King Charles so they can get in as much as possible. And they'll be traveling 30,000 miles in about 9 days. And I think that's really demanding
Yes, it
for
is. It's
him.
a taxing
But this
flight.
he wants to do because he loves Australia. He was there when he was a teenager and was feeling a bit lost in the UK. And he loved it. He went for long walks and he was found that he could spend time himself and he could be friendly with people. And he's loved being in Australia. And he's very grateful that the Queen was always welcomed there, the late Queen, and that they helped us in the war, World War One and World War Two. I mean, they've been really our allies. And if things have moved on, so they don't actually want him to be in charge, although at the moment he doesn't tell people what to do, he's just there.
Mm.
That I think that he should be treated with dignity and good manners. I mean, it's very, very bad manners, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's terrible. Shame on the politicians that will not go and greet the head of state of your country when actually, yeah, sure, you've got a Republican prime minister, but there's still no answer, Angela. There's still no answer. Now, remember, I'm New Zealand born. I'm a huge monarchist. And you often get these left-wing politicians who love the idea of let's get rid of the royal family, let's get rid of the monarchy. It's not so simple. It is not simple because when Australia had the referendum, I think it was in the year 2000 or around that time, they couldn't work out who was going to replace the king. And actually, I think what's going to happen is Charles will be very dignified. People will see how ill he is, and there will be a wave of goodwill towards him in terms of the public. And that's why he is so desperate to make this trip. But look,
Yes.
Stan.
Sorry, but he doesn't mind if they become as independent as
No,
they like. He's
of
not
course.
there because that's how life changes. And he hasn't stopped anybody doing that.
No.
What he would like is for them to be a member of the Commonwealth. And when they meet once a year, and there's 56 independent nations that get together and chat about how things can be done and helping each other. So it has a very positive way. And I think that that's a very good compromise. And the fact that you just sort of turn your back is shocking. I mean, even Starmer, our prime minister, who's against the monarchy, or certainly has been polite to
Yes,
the king.
he very
And
much has.
I've seen him laughing with him, and he's actually had the good manners to do the right thing at the right time. I mean, I'm not a follower of his, but at least he had some good manners. And I think they'll look ridiculous, the ones who don't, because I think there'll be so many people there to cheer him on because he's come a long way and he's been a pal for a long time. He's been there 15 times, been to Australia 15 times, so he really does like it. And they'll look like wimps. That's what I hope, anyway.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.